Yo, what's going on? I'm someone that's no one, and welcome to the show. Today, we're going to talk about why all drugs should be legal. Basically, I'm just going to touch on a few opinions to go with this statement. Probably not so much, well, we'll talk about a bit about against it, but mainly just a way to open your mind and kind of view things from a different perspective. But before we dive into it, if you want to see more things like this, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment below. I would actually appreciate it if you guys can come up with arguments for or against it in the comments below, and what you actually just think on this topic, because I think I can easily make a part 2. We're not going to get super deep. There's a lot to cover with this topic anyways, so yeah, we can always make a part 2, possibly part 3, and it depends on what you guys want with this. So let's dive into it. So we're going to start with the ideology. This should always be seen as an idea rather than an actual belief of mine. I think that drugs being legal or illegal both have their own pros and cons, but I see a better society with drugs being legal. So what are the reasons for that? Well, the first reason we're going to get into is tyranny. How does it feel to have no control over your life? Well, having control over your life has many different viewpoints, but a majority of people like to see the world as they decide what they do with their life. So wouldn't it make sense if we wanted to, we should be able to access these drugs and use them, to our choosing? I think of a grown adult who's capable of making their own decision should have the option. Weed, that's a good first step, but I think it will help us get more freedom, quote for quote, if you want to call it that. But I don't think it's going to be, enough. Whether it's going to be weed, MDMA, oxycodone, DMT, we should be able to use this, honor free, our onto our choosing, I should say. But you could say that by keeping these substances away from people, that is a violation of our freedom. And I use this term lightly because, it could have multiple meanings, but I think you understand in which way I'm using it. The next point, putting an end to the war on drugs. Now, the war on drugs is very questionable as to how and where we have gotten with it, but here's a way, we can possibly stop all this, illegal drug trafficking, the gang violence, and the side effects that come with it. And it's most likely eventually going to happen that these things will be minimized drastically because of drugs, because that's what is driving it in the first place. If drugs were legal, we could work on them ourselves and provide better prices, because these illegal suppliers can really tax if they want, and a lot of them do. It's all about money, and we can talk about money in another video. But not only can we stop this, but we can also provide safety. On to the next point, safe drugs. Now, no one likes it when their acid numbs their tongue, or when their MDMA turns out to be cut with meth or some bullshit, or, coke, is where it's clearly, cut with some other crap, like 80% of the fucking time, I guess. And when people buy drugs off the street, they have no protection, whatsoever. If we were to make them, we could put an end to that issue as well. No fentanyl in the Zans. Now, you could say just get a test kit, you moron. And I do encourage this behavior, but not everyone wants to or doesn't really care enough, and that's the reality to it. Which they should be, they should care about this, because, they're playing with their own life, essentially. But people, especially when it comes to the street, will not test their drugs. No one has to bat an eye when they go to the liquor store or get a pack of cigarettes and wonder if they got, is real or fake. And I think many of us can agree it would be nice to have that safety as well, because people are going to get these drugs regardless, illegally or legally. Now, let's move on to the next point, the psychedelic theory. Now, this strays away from, I guess, what we've been talking about, more so the current reality, and this could be more seen as speculation, mainly because we don't have enough research at this point, because these drugs are illegal, and what I'm talking about is acid, shrooms, DMT, just some of the common ones. But some people even say weed. But the whole idea behind this is the government is trying to keep us stupid because, it's easier to control stupid people, I suppose. And I think they're scared that a lot of people would, wake up and the government would just kind of crumble away. Maybe there will be a rebellion, or, the new generation just takes over and we simply abolish, this whole idea of a government. And obviously, this would be terrible for them. Who would want that loss of power? And personally, I see this inevitably happening, and we'll kind of look back at it like how we do now to like the Roman Empire. And I see this possibly being, the next step for in our evolution, kind of, for humanity. Possibly, it's just an idea. I encourage you to check out the stoned ape theory for more on this. But this is a rocky pathway to take, and actually doing it, okay? I'm sure many of you have concerns or questions about this. What drugs should we legalize first? Should we legalize them all at once? Should we only legalize psychedelics? What if, this is the really big concern, I feel like. What if all that happens is a bunch of people end up becoming addicted because of it? And that's where, that's what we don't want. That's the opposite of what we're going for. There's just many problems that could arise from this. We don't want to be supporting, people's heroin addiction, or just have this crazy epidemic of drug addicts, and we end up, having to take responsibility for this. For all drugs to be legal, I think we need to have a very cooperative and intelligent society. And to be that type of society, I think we need less people. Too many people with too many problems and too big of egos that hinder progress, I feel like. And we need a society that works together, not one with borders and where there's people fighting over power. We live in a very egotistical world, guys. So, should we legalize drugs anytime soon? Probably not, but who knows? Maybe the next 20, 30 years from now, I'm pretty sure technology is going to be way more advanced than it is now, and possibly beyond from what some people can see right now. Some people probably couldn't even imagine what it's going to be like. And maybe some of these problems will actually be solved by then, and we don't have to legalize drugs. And personally, I do have faith in technology, very much so. But let's talk on the addiction issue that may arise out of this. And this may just be a pie in the sky idea, but this is kind of a solution to the side effect of people becoming addicted, more further than what we talked about, pie in the sky idea. Okay, I think the answer is to make new drugs that can substitute for meth, crack, anything out there, and give it safe properties, so we don't become physically addicted. If we can do that, again, just an idea. What about the mental addiction? I think we can also alter the drug to open the person's mind more and have them see and kind of reflect on their actions and promote them to make a better choice with their life. I think that having that effect should be optional, though, because I guess it would be tyrannical if we were to control people in such a way. I guess it's very complicated where this actually goes. Many complications to this idea that are worth exploring, I think. But again, I do ultimately think that eventually, at some point in time, our society will make this step, and maybe the world just has to grow some more first before we actually get there. And then again, maybe this is just some whack-ass idea. I'm not sure. I don't have the answers. Again, this is just an idea. This is more just speculation. I think it might be an idea worth exploring and whatnot. So again, like I said, leave comments below on this topic, guys. I'd really love to, hear what you guys have to say about this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe. You guys know what to do. It's been Someone That's No One, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.